Right, hello everyone. I hope you can all hear me okay. I know my new computer, I can see if people can either hear me or not hear me, so I'm just going to get straight into it. We're going to start this. Sort of stream. Small bit on chain, explain what's going on with the macro. That'll be the first part, and then we'll move on to the charts and what our thoughts and feelings are and how to position ourselves during this. So we can see from the on-chain data, we're still pretty good. So even though the macro, let me explain the macro first and then why that moves into on-chain and why we're seeing the contrast. So with the macro, we're basically seeing that when the Fed meeting minutes came out a few weeks ago, they were overly bearish, suggesting that they wanted to do a 50 basis point move back in March, but because of the geopolitical tension between Russia and Ukraine, they decided not to. They've then said that they're likely going to start selling some of the assets on their balance sheet. That will likely start in, maybe not likely in May, but like 50-50 will start in May, maybe at the following meeting. But either way, they've said they want to be aggressive with this. So this is very bad. During COVID, what they did is they bought loads of assets and they basically printed money, bought loads of assets, and obviously that money is going back into the economy. So the markets are really fueled, like they're really fueled with new money coming in every month because the Fed is basically feeding in this new money by buying up all these mortgage-backed securities and bonds. What's happening now is we've got this ridiculous inflation where prices are so high because there's so much money in the system. You've also got the supply side issues. So what's happening now is the Fed need to combat this because their target inflation rate is 2%, not 8.5% or whatever it is now. So they need to combat this. And what they do is they make money more expensive to borrow, which is increasing interest rates. And then what they do is they start reducing the money supply, i.e. selling the assets on their balance sheet, keeping the dollars they get in return and reducing the money supply. So we saw during COVID, markets went absolutely through the roof. And now we're going to probably see the opposite effect. So that's what our thoughts and feelings are over the next sort of like 3 to 6 months. So markets are going to go down. But this is where you really make the big money in crypto, is being here when the bottom is in and buying that bottom. So that's why I think you're better off being here during the bear market than you are in the bull market. That's my God's honest opinion. So with that in mind, I have the thoughts and feelings that we see a $20,000 to $27,000 Bitcoin, somewhere in that wide range, at some point in the next few months. And that is the buying stage. If you can be here learning now and be in this market now at this time and the next few months and deploy your capital at that right moment, that's where you make the real money. And then hold it for a year and a half and you'll be up probably, I'd say a minimum of 4 to 7 times your money. So that's where you make the money. It's not buying in at the bull market and getting that last 20-30%. That's not where you make sort of life-changing money. The money is made by putting in what you can afford to lose and getting a 5, 6, 7, 8x out of it. That's why being here during the bear market is more important than being here during the bull market. So with that being said, those are our views over the mid to long term. Over the short term, it's very contrasting. I'm talking weeks. So I feel like at the May meeting, it'll be really bearish. Things will go down. Or if it's not as bearish as first thought, then things might take a small uptick. So we really don't know. But overall, we know the general market is down, which is why the liquidity is not there. Things can't get the bid, and we can't get these like run upwards. These price moves upwards that carry a significant amount of momentum. So with that being said, we know that the strength isn't there on the midterm. But you might get a short-term rally, but not in the midterm or long-term for now. So let's have a look at the on-chain data and see what that's telling us. So we can still see Bitcoins are being accumulated. Now, if I zoom out, that's why you've got the red spikes. That's outflows of Bitcoins from exchanges. So net outflow, green is net inflow. So the red is the net outflow. If we zoom out to like 2019, we can see this is pretty significant. The last few times we've had these sort of levels, maybe this is a lot more, but it's somewhere in here we've got price moves up, here we got price moves up, here we didn't, that was the top basically. So here was also very good, but we saw there was big transactions being done here, so this was dominated by the institutions. Here we don't have the institutions doing the buying, we have the smaller guys doing the buying, so that's really important to note. So this could lead to a capitulation event if prices keep going downwards. You start seeing this decrease and you start seeing green, and then you see price collapse. As people start realizing this is not going up, I want to get out of all those coins I've accumulated. But let's see, it's something to take note of. But overall, this is positive so far, and historically it's positive, but there are examples where it's not. So that's why we need to dig into the data a bit more. Let's look at addresses with balance greater than 0.01 Bitcoin. Let's zoom back in a tad. So we can see here they've been going up significantly. So these are the small fish, don't worry too much. Addresses with balance greater than 0.1, again, been shooting up significantly. Note here, on January the 28th, there was a small dip and then a big move up. So note this, same place on the other charts. Addresses with balance greater than 1 Bitcoin, slightly bigger dip, so that the bigger wallets are starting to risk off more, but they've accumulated heavily. We got this plateau, but again, another tick up. Addresses with balance greater than 10. Now I'm looking at this for the first time in the last day or two. So, well, last 24 hours, but so I'm looking at this with fresh eyes. So you'll hear my thoughts straight off the bat. What my thoughts are. Addresses with balance greater than 10. We saw here on January the 28th, we had a big dip down, and we've only just really recovered it now. But it's been a slow, not bleed up, but a tough struggle up basically. So the bigger wallet sizes we start seeing, the less risking on you're seeing. You're seeing them not take the risk of getting back in. They're actually staying out the market. Addresses with balance greater than 100. So we know this move here is legitimate. But we know this move here at the end of the month, and the Glassnode did report this, that this wasn't legitimate, i.e. it's not a misprint, but it was exchanges creating new wallets and moving coins out, so basically distributing their risk, so creating a lot more wallets and moving some coins out effectively. So that basically tells us this move here wasn't really legitimate, and even though we're range bound up here, we're probably actually range bound here where my cursor is. And we haven't really climbed up. We've got a very steady uptrend, but nothing really suggesting that we're significantly risking on. Let's look at addresses with balance greater than 1K. Same again here. This move, these were the larger wallets. It was on the last day of the month. It was the exchange basically distributing to new wallets they had created. So don't take that as an organic move, because it wasn't. It's not misprints, it did actually happen, but it wasn't loads of new addresses being created. So organically by lots of individuals, it was by one subset. We can see here they've been pretty range bound, a nice move up, come all the way back down, and now risk back on slightly, but nothing too drastic. So here I wouldn't be too concerned with this, but the summary to take from the addresses is that the smaller guys are still accumulating, but the big guys are not. So the big guys are just holding what they've got. If we look at the selling, we'll just do an overview. Coin days destroyed, there was a bit of a spike in here. So that's some older coins being done. Let's actually look into this. So on the coin days destroyed, the older the coins being sold, the more the spike on the coin days destroyed metric. So we can see not much on coins that are older than 1 month but younger than 3 months. Not much spike here. Notice a lot of the selling by the big boys was done in here. So spent outputs 3 to, and by big boys I mean the guys that are willing to hold for 1 to 2 years. Spent outputs 3 to 6 months, nothing hugely major there. 6 months to 12 months, nothing hugely major. 1 year to 2 year, nothing hugely major. 2 years to 3 year, again. 3 year to 5 year. So it's probably a lot of the shorter term guys doing that. Yeah, it's quite high. 1 day to 1 week. No, 1 week to 1 month. Maybe it was the short guys, 1 week to 1 month. But let's steer clear of that for now. Let's look at the last thing, whale map. Large wallet inflows. So it's not brilliant, but it's still okay. If we look on the bottom right hand corner, we can see how many bitcoins were accumulated at this date: 4,000, 624,000, 69,000, 34, 18,000. The big bubble was still here, 226,000. That was 320,000, so it's come down by about 100,000. But remember, this is bubbles indicate locations at which large players accumulated bitcoins that they are currently holding. So when you see lots of blue bubbles, that's very good because it means the selling hasn't been done yet. But if you're seeing not loads, and I look at these charts every day, this isn't loads. It's okay, but it's not a lot. I wouldn't take this as bullish, that's for certain. So with this being the case, I know there's a lot of guys that have either bought and sold or just haven't bought. So this is a really key metric here, and it tells you that the big boys are not risking on. The big boys have not bought up a lot, and if they had, they've already sold it. So that's something really key to know. And there used to be huge blue bubbles in here that are now not there, which means they've been sold into, and a lot were sold into up here. So now that's done, let's move on to the move on to the charts. So it's done. So I'm getting used to my new trackpad for my new laptop. So let's start with the S&P, because we always seem to start on the S&P. It gives a nice overview. So we've had an ish move up today, but nothing really special. I still think we end up coming down, testing this 50% line. Maybe we don't, but I think it's probably likely. Yeah, I think it's probably likely. But let's move to Bitcoin now. Overall, the S&P is going to come down more. I would say over the next 3 months, it's going to come down to 4,000, probably 338, 39, somewhere in there. Let's look at Bitcoin. So Bitcoin here, if we look at the 12-hour chart, and all these charts are on 12 hours for now, we can see that we've got the bounce in the yellow box, but we created a bear flag, and the bear flag was under the horizontal resistance. So this tells me we're going to break down significantly, but we only broke down to here, and we filled the remainder of the yellow box, and now we've got to move up. So the yellow box are usually bullish boxes in bull markets, but at this moment in time they've not been working because we're in a bear market, so we play the orange boxes instead. However, this one hasn't broken down a lot, and it created a bull div on the 12-hour. So lower low in price, higher low on the oscillator. Obviously we've had a nice move, and I did the trade alert this morning, as all you free members, I sent it to you guys as well. That trade was sent to everybody today, because I know you, the guys on the free membership, never really get trades, because that's for the guys that have the paying subscription, of course. But I sent that trade out to everyone today. Our entry was between 39,100 and 38,300. I only got a few orders filled. It didn't come right down to the 38,300s, 38,500s. I think my average entry is like 38,900 or 39,000. It might even actually be. So at 39,000, it's now at 40,000. So we've had a nice move in one day. It's not too bad. My first target is going to be the top 41,000 here. I then want to test it in the orange box. We could reject here. I think we should get past 41. If we don't get past 41, that's just really weak. Yeah, that would be really poor. We can come down, retest slightly, maybe retest like 39.5, and then go from there. I'd probably move my stop loss now up to entry, so you're riding completely free. And on a 10x leverage here, I think you've maybe got a 25% move on a 10x leverage. I know all of us play 10x leverage, so it's a nice trade for the day considering. But let's see how it goes. If we get to this orange box and it starts to look toppy, I would like to see the RSI come higher. Something in, maybe not as much as that. I don't think you'll get there, but I think you might get somewhere in the high 60s, maybe in the 70s. I would look to short this. That's where I'd be looking to short. Now, if you're a paid member, you can download all these charts. So all the charts I have here, you can import the list and download and check them on your phone, check them on your laptop. So that's one of the cool benefits you get with the membership. So, but these are my thoughts on Bitcoin. We're out of the downtrend as well, which is cool to see. We've got the bull div on the 12-hour. I wanted it to stay low, to be honest. So I wanted to get the bull div on the daily. But if we're not going to create a low, we're not going to get the bull div on the daily, which is a tad annoying. But, hoo-ha, we've made money in the trade, so that's okay. So yeah, on the 12-hour, you got the bull div. I wanted it on the daily, so I wanted the price to stay sort of down here at 39.3, 39.4, because then you would have got it, but unfortunately we didn't get it. But either way, we've got the move up, and we've made money, and that's all it's about, really. So it's all okay. But the key levels I'm watching are 41,000, This local orange box at 41.7, give or take, and then this one at 43.9 will be the big one. I don't think we get past there. I don't know what happened to my mouse there, but 43.9 is the main one. I'm not sure we'd even get there. I think we might reject here, but I'm hoping we go to here, and then I can sell the long and also short. That would be cool. Let's move to Ethereum. Let me take a sip of my drink. So this one can go because this is a local one. I have to redraw this. This one is a main one though. Did we get... You did. Just about. You just about got a bull div, which is a really nice move. Bouncing the yellow box and off a horizontal support. So this might have even actually been the better play. But at the time, I remember seeing this breaching below. Obviously, it closed up here, but when I did look at it, it was slightly below. So it wasn't actually going to be a bull div, which is why I chose to play Bitcoin instead. But overall, this can break out. I think we can have the first test here would be 31,400 in my mind. If you don't get to 31,400, well, it's just, it would be extremely weak. That needs to be the first target. I think I want to be coming somewhere in here, 33s. If we can get to 33s, I'd be shorting it most likely. I'd love to get to sort of 30. I'd leave some room to get to 33.69. And I would layer orders to short for the coming, a couple of months, going into May and June, where I think the markets will be really bad, especially because usually in the summer, the pro traders, they're not in the office, they're on holiday, they've made all their money, they go on holiday, so volumes are really low as it is. So I just think the markets can really go down. Let's have a look at Litecoin. Litecoin is the most boring coin nowadays. Volume is... Oh, it's actually increased quite a bit. That's not too bad. But overall, it's mostly downtrended. The main support was 119, and we couldn't couldn't stay above it. So I thought here, if we could get a move here, we'd get a sort of bull flag, but we didn't. We broke down. So it was something like this. This is going to be very rough. It was something like that. So I thought we'd get a move, bounce, we'd come all the way up, touch the horizontal support, touch the channel, come back down, touch the horizontal support, and then bounce, and possibly go something like this. But we just didn't get it. It just completely broke down because Bitcoin broke down from 48. So overall, and Litecoin didn't show any strength at any point in time. When we had the nice move on, I gave you guys the curve trade, the Solana trade. If you're in the paid half of the group, we made great profits on those. I think it was 300% on Solana and like 200% on curve. So those are really, really good profits. But those opportunities were there and they made decent runs. Litecoin didn't make a decent run whatsoever. It did this run, which was okay. You've gone from 100 to 35, but Solana well outperformed that. I think Curve probably performed about the same, but yeah, I just wasn't really, fully confident on this one, to be honest. And I'm still not, even going forward, I'm still not. So this has been the most manipulated coin over the last 48 hours, probably manipulated by insiders at FTX. I don't really know what's going to happen here because it was creating a bear flag, so it should have broke down. And then Sunday night, when the volume is really low, it shot up and tried to reclaim the trend. So that's when loads of buying would have come in on FTX. That's literally insiders trying to save the weekly close. So that's really manipulated. I don't want to get involved in this. So far, the opportunity is not in this one. As I said, the opportunity today was in Bitcoin. Solana, so it's broken down. It's sort of like a bear flag. Overall, we can get rid of this one now, that looks ugly. So overall, I'm not interested again until we get above 115. If we can get above 115, that would be really nice, and I would consider a long there. But here, it doesn't show me any strength, even though we have got a bull div on the 12-hour. Probably not on the daily. No, because the close has been really good. This hammer has been really good. So no, we're not going to get it. Or it looks like we're not going to get it. So I'm only going to become interested in again if we can get above 115. So other than that, for now, not too interested. BNB. Oh, this is a nice move. I would like this to have made a low, but it hasn't. Let's adjust this because it probably is slightly, it's probably not out. Yeah, it's probably not out. Sorry, let me zoom right in and do this properly for you all. Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah, so that's probably not out just yet. Let me get rid of the volume because it just looks so ugly. Okay, so this one, I would like to see this one reject. Come down, test the horizontal support 382, create a bull div, lower low in prices, come down to like here, so lower low than this, but the oscillator would be a higher low. That would be really cool to see. I'm not sure we're going to get it now because this low has been set in, but overall I wasn't hugely confident on this. Bitcoin seemed to me to be the one this morning, hence I put it out to everyone. So we've got Matic. So this one did create a bull div. It was in a bear flag. It broke. Your bear flag was probably more like this. It probably changed. There you go. So you broke down that bear flag. It's created the lower low, but on the 12-hour, it created the bull div. So we got the nice move up. We're retesting the trend line here, so we can get rejection at sort of like 138, 139, which was seeming to already 1386. Yeah, you're almost nearly there. But let's keep tracking it. Let's see. Overall, not interested in this one either. It's not giving me enough. It's already made its move. If it could come back, maybe I'd consider it, but I probably wouldn't now. I'd rather just hold on to the Bitcoin trade, knowing that that's the strongest coin, the most stable one, and we've got a reasonably decent entry, so I'm happy to hold that one for now. Polkadot. So this one wasn't as good, but it has had a decent move. It's similar story to Matic, but Matic is not like it, no. Polkadot is. Polkadot and Chainlink are similar, so I'll go through both of them. So we can see it's got this uptrend channel, and then it's broken down. It didn't create the lower low in price, but it did create a high low in the oscillator, but that's not a bull div. And you have to note, you're still well below the horizontal resistance at 1909. So until we can get above that, I'm not interested, because it has to show some sort of like momentum and strength to get above it for me to say, aha, there's buyers coming in here. I want to be part of this new volume that's coming in. I'm going to take this trade with everyone. But until you see there be any form of strength, you're basically battling against the crowd. Well, not battling against the crowd. You're taking a trade on your own with no one else really coming into it with you, and you need the market to move with you and get there just before. That's why you've got to be on this all the time and really be seeing the opportunities. But here, I'm not getting the signs that I think other, good traders would be looking at to say, aha, this looks good. I'm gonna jump in here. Chainlink is pretty much the exact same, very similar chart. The good part is it's holding this main downtrend, which if I zoom out, a lot of us sold our spots in here, this orange box. I should have shorted it, but I didn't. Might make me cry if I look at that too long. But anyway, we're holding this main downtrend line, which is very good. If we can claim above this 1486, I would consider a long there, but we're a long way off. You've got a sort of another 10% move to go. So for now, I just can't be too interested. These things are not getting the moves that they should be. I mean, look at the move on the RSI. You got a nice move up on the RSI. The price didn't really. It just almost was range bound. It didn't really do anything. So for those reasons, DOT and Chainlink, I love both the coins, just not interested in them. AVAX, we need to get above 76.40. If we can get some good closes today, then some of these alts might run in the following days if Bitcoin makes a half decent move. But for now, it's not seeming to make... it's just not seeming to make... A lot of the alts aren't making these big moves. They're only just following in Bitcoin steps. They're not really, doing it off their own back like we saw a few weeks ago with Solana. Curve was really pushing. So for now, we're not getting them. Luna, yeah, so they did bounce in the green box, which is nice. I want to see Luna just rocket up to something like, if we can get close to 100, I'd be placing some sizable shorts on this. I really would. This is one of those ones I'd like to short going into the next few months. in terms of when I say sizable, they would be sizable for me in that. So try and structure this your own way as well. In that, if you've got X amount of money, say to yourself, right, I'm happy to put this amount to the side. If Luna shoots to 150 or 140, something like that. If Luna shoots to 140, and I've got $3,000 and I only want to lose $500 on this trade, absolute maximum, position yourself with the leverage so that if it goes to 140, you lose $500 and that cuts your trade. But then the rest, just hold it all the way down. That's what I will effectively be doing. But here at 86, the price isn't high enough. I want us to be at the 100 mark. But Luna, I'm looking at for a long-term short. That would be really nice. But the green boxes works really well. I did post this the other day. So a lot of you guys that download the charts would have had this. Curve, I thought, was going to touch 198, similar to Polkadot and Chainlink, needs to get above 236 until it can reclaim these significant horizontal resistance levels, flip them into support. It's just not worth getting involved in these because they don't have the momentum, they don't have the they're not showing any significant buyers coming in. So why would you go in and buy it yourself? It doesn't make any sense because you're not buying in with the top people in the market. You're just one of the normal guys just buying it and hoping something happens. But nothing is going to happen because the big guys aren't going to flood in. So you've got to wait for these signals that suggest to you bigger guys are looking at this. It's getting a bit of volume. Maybe I should start thinking about taking a position, and as you start seeing more signs improve, you then lump in, and it usually works that all the top traders seem to lump in at the same time because they know what they're looking for. So similar with me, you want to see these good divergences, you want to see that significant level has been reclaimed, i.e. resistance or support, and you want to see that in the prior move it's shown some strength. If it's shown some strength, that tells you, aha, this one can show some strength again. But if it's shown no buyers at previous levels, then the chances are it's not going to show any buyers at this level. So just stay away from it. Same story. I'm not going to repeat myself, but same story. Created the bull div, can get above, but hasn't made a significant move. It's gone from 108 to 112, so you've got like a 4% move. It's okay. It's nothing special, but until you're above 116, you're not going to get anything special. And really, you need to be above 147. So this one is just completely off the radar. I'm not even considering this one. Sand. Oh, sand could be quite nice actually. Oh, go away. I'm annoyed I didn't long this at the time. It could easily reject it though. But we did get a bull div on the 12 hour. Let's see how some of these close. Because some of these might, if Bitcoin comes, oh nice, Bitcoin's at 40,300. If Bitcoin comes down to like 39.5, these might come down and close just above at 265, but might hold the horizontal support, but still be low enough that it creates that bull div on the daily, because that's what would encourage me to get in more strongly. So look, we have it on the 12 hour, we've got a lower low in price here to here, lower low, but a higher low on the oscillator from here to here. If we look on the daily, you've not got the low yet, you've got the wick, but it needs to be the candle closure, which you don't have. And then here you do have the bull div, but you have the higher low on the oscillator, but not the lower low on the price, because you've closed above. You're basically at it. So it's not enough. That's not, I would be looking at as a trader, and I think other traders are looking at, thinking it's not showing me enough. I'm not interested. So these are the things you've got to look out for. We'll look at one last coin, which is Waves, which I was gutted about, really wanted to be shorting that in here. We did actually put a short out and it did get a stop loss, so it was really annoying. But yeah, this was one of those ones I wish I had shorted. This is the one that really makes me cry. But yeah, that's it. I know a lot of you cover Waves, so just wanted to go through it slightly. I think this could have a slight bounce, but it's been so heavily manipulated, I wouldn't really want to get involved in this. Let's do one last check on Bitcoin. Overall looking good. We're on the daily, back to 12 hour. So if we can get really strong close today, something above like 4,900, that would be phenomenal. That really would be phenomenal. And we would have basically bought sort of the bottom. 39 is there, so it would have been a nice bottom call. But let's see what we get. For now, we'll track it. We'll see how the on-chain data changes over the next day or so. and see if there's any more news that comes out. You still have things like the Elon Musk Twitter stuff. You still have the possibility that Russia will default. There's a few things going on, but what I'll do is I'll keep on top of all of these, and yeah, we'll go from there. But overall today we've had a nice trade. I'm going to increase the stop loss to entry price at 39,000. I think you should be up something like now 5%. No, you're probably up 30% on leverage, something like this. That's on a 10x. So I know a lot of you guys play 20, 50x, but I wouldn't play those. Just play 10x. 10x is more than enough, and it still keeps you reasonable as well. But yeah, that's it. If there's any questions about this stream, please let me know in the chats. I'm gonna go and get dinner now, but once done I'll be sat on the sofa watching TV. I'll be on my phone. If you've got any questions, I can answer any of the ones you've got. But that's it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. You've had a nice bank holiday weekend. Tomorrow I'll try and do for the pro guys, I'll upload some on-chain stuff, even though I've covered a decent bit of it today. And yeah, Wednesday we'll have a fresh watch list. Hopefully we get some action tonight, tomorrow, and the watch list will look all sort of funky on Wednesday. But yeah, that's it. Enjoy the rest of your evening, guys. Thanks for watching. Bye, everyone.